Graduation from one of the country's top pharmacy schools is always marked with great celebration and some relief. But the class of 2021 has cause for something truly special. This graduation day has become even more meaningful. You have powered through historic circumstances created by once-in-a-century pandemic. You met that challenge with extraordinary effort, extraordinary resilience, and extraordinary brilliance. From this moment forward, you will say, I was there. You will say, I was finishing pharmacy school when the COVID-19 pandemic struck. But what else will you say about this time in your life? I hope you will say more than, I became a pharmacist or I became a scientist. I hope you will say, I became a champion for health and for well-being. Because you indeed have, and I mean that sincerely. I have witnessed this class since the early days of the pandemic. I saw how you pivoted in an unimaginable situation, how you came together with faculty and staff, how together you embraced new ways to complete your studies, your labs, and your clinical rounds. I saw you embrace the great unknown as an opportunity, a real-life opportunity to test your merit and your skills. I saw you expand your depth of knowledge exponentially. I saw you make connections and deepen relationships. And I saw you rise to meet every single new challenge that presented itself. You are the personification of persistence. You have set a new bar for excellence, and you are going to do amazing things in your careers. You may not see it right now, at this moment. I hope you learn to see yourselves as I see you, as this faculty sees you, and as your family sees you. You are the heroes of health and well-being, and we are so very proud of your accomplishment. You have already done so much for our local community. Collectively, you volunteered countless hours in UC San Diego's free medical clinics. You have participated in numerous health fairs and community outreach programs. As students, you have transformed the lives of many people. And as graduates, you will impact even more people. You will practice San Diego foundational sciences. I encourage you to help bridge the healthcare gap in California and in this country and wherever you practice. Use your education to seek out innovative solutions, make the leading edge your professional stomping ground, and continue to be a hero of health and of well-being. The character and passion of this UC San Diego SCAG school class will take you far, but hopefully not so far that you do not stay in touch. As Chancellor, there is one final point I want to emphasize. Remember that this is your university, your home away from home. You have been and will continue to be an important part of UC San Diego, and we hope you stay connected and return very often. Congratulations on your remarkable achievement.
Class of 2021, I am so proud of you. I know many of you from teaching and an important survey that some of us worked on in San Diego County. You've been trained as the new pharmacist, a primary healthcare provider. You don't just manage drug therapy, but you've been trained to immunize, and your education includes everything from human anatomy to the pathogenesis and treatment of diseases of every organ system. You're going to be valued whatever career path you choose. As our school is a research-intensive school of pharmacy, your research projects gave you expertise in everything from drug metabolism by cytochrome P450 to sepsis, osteoporosis, prescription errors, and drug interactions. Finally, don't forget where you trained. Come back to see us, be a preceptor, and be active in our alumni organization. But most of all, be a leader in our field. Congratulations.
Hello, I'm David Brenner, Vice Chancellor for Health Sciences. I want to extend my personal congratulations to this very special class of pharmacy school graduates. We've heard it said many times by now, but I can't not acknowledge that we live in extraordinary times. We could not have foreseen that you'd spend a large part of your graduate education in a global pandemic and a time of political uncertainty. Like me, I'm sure you've been distracted by constant worry about our loved ones and our communities. How could we not be? And yet, we have all risen to the occasion and succeeded beyond what I'm sure you thought possible, in spite of, and often because of, these challenges. Since the school's first graduation in 2006, SCAG's graduates have gone on to a variety of cutting-edge and people-oriented careers, ranging from hospital pharmacists to researchers in drug development. And I'm continually surprised and delighted to find our graduates leading in a variety of unexpected roles as the healthcare landscape and even what it means to be called a pharmacist continues to evolve. Yet we never stop learning. Many of you will go on to postdoctoral fellowships and residencies, a hallmark of UC San Diego graduates that surpasses other schools of pharmacy across the United States. One of our key initiatives in the health sciences is creating and disseminating leading-edge research and discoveries that transform lives, shape new fields, and push the frontiers of knowledge. You are crucial to that endeavor. In the 4 years that you've been in pharmacy school here, SCAG researchers have made advances in basic research and drug development for a wide range of human conditions. Together, we have uncovered new biomarkers that help predict the patients at greatest risk of dying from sepsis, demonstrated how existing drugs might be repurposed to treat conditions such as brain cancer, depression, and infection, mined large databases to discover previously unrecognized side effects of common medications, highlighted the economic costs of non-optimized medications, helped draft national guidelines for therapeutic management, served as expert sources in local and national media, commenting on topics ranging from diabetes to opiate abuse. In short, our researchers in the SCAG School of Pharmacy are at the leading edge of biomedical discovery, employing their deep expertise and the latest technologies for the benefits of human health and community well-being. Everything from whole genome sequencing and gene editing to analysis of the human microbiome and development of the latest in big data bioinformatics platforms. But you aren't confined to our labs and classrooms, or Zoom rooms, as the case may be more recently. Far from it. You are serving in our student-run free clinics, working with local community groups, meeting people where they are, people who otherwise lack adequate access to healthcare and social services, often people who are the most in need of a pharmacist's help. You organize volunteers to provide free grocery shopping and delivery services to people in our community who could not leave their homes during the pandemic. Some of you never left the clinics and hospitals during the entirety of the pandemic, consulting and caring for all patients, including those severely affected by COVID-19, whose medical needs just a year ago were barely understood. At the same time, you have seen with your own eyes that the burden of this pandemic is not shouldered equally. Many communities of color have the greatest rates of COVID-19, the greatest number of deaths, and the least access to testing and vaccines. That's because many policies that negatively impact the community's health are steeped in a long history of racial injustice that disproportionately affect Black, Indigenous, Latinx, and other historically marginalized groups. You are already shining a light on and finding solutions to these disparities, inequalities, and injustices. And I hope you will continue to do so throughout your careers. You have excelled in every measure of clinical and research skills, attributable both to you and to the outstanding faculty at the SCAG, partly evidenced by our school's track record. Our classes consistently achieve a 100% first-time attempt pass rate on the NAPLEX licensing exam year after year. This is virtually unheard of and has contributed to SCAG's place in the top 20 pharmacy schools in the nation, according to U.S. News and World Report. The community you have formed with your fellow students, with your teachers, with community partners, with the pharmacists, physicians, and medical students at UC San Diego Health, as you train with them side by side, this is a very special one. You are part of a new generation of pharmacists, therapeutic experts who will be a fundamental part of your patients' healthcare teams, just as you've been trained. I hope that you remember these ties and experiences as you move forward in your careers and that you continue to stay involved as active alumni. We are here for you. Congratulations and thank you.
Good morning, faculty, friends, family members, loved ones, and of course, good morning to my amazing classmates. My name is Kunming Wen, and I come to you today to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2021. The last 4 years have felt like a never-ending race, one in which we are too out of breath to give praise to each other, to ourselves for what an amazing job we've all been doing. So now, at the end of this race, I want to acknowledge your accomplishments. I want to commend you for your determination, for your perseverance, for the resilience that has allowed this day to come to fruition. I know that this journey was not easy. This journey was fraught with anxiety, with stress and tears. It was fraught with moments of self-doubt and breakdowns alone in your room. Some of you had to work more than 13 days in a row during rotations. Some of you were free clinic managers and had to stay as late as midnight in clinic and then wake up 2 hours later to get to the hospital for your rotations. But today, you're here. Today, you're standing at the finish line next to your friends, next to your family, and you should all be so proud of yourselves because in spite of how hard it's been, you did it. You survived. So take a moment to pat yourselves on the back and applaud yourselves. I'm going to insert some awkward applause here, so you better be applauding with me. I thought for a very long time about what I wanted to say to you today. I've watched a lot of amazing commencement speeches, and a lot of them started off by saying that you probably won't remember what I say today, or who even gave this speech. But I'm going to be honest, I hope that you do remember, because I'm going to share with you 2 things that were said to me that have stayed with me ever since. 2 things that have lifted my spirits and given me courage when I needed it most. And I hope that one day, when you feel just as down as I had felt, these words will give you courage as well. 4th year was hard. There's no denying it. Staying up late to work on presentations and projects and to study for exams, waking up early the next day to get to the hospital so that you could read about your patients and figure out their treatment plans. And on top of that, interviewing for fellowships, for residencies, and applying for jobs. I'm not exaggerating when I say that residency interviewing was the single most stressful period of my academic life. I'm sure that all of you who applied felt the same way as well. And at the same time, I was coping with a lot of personal issues. I came into rotations and even into interviews, unable to sleep, unable to concentrate. And with each mistake that I made, with each failed interview, with each assignment that I couldn't finish on time, I felt my confidence crumble away, a little more and more until there was barely anything left. I went into one of my interviews, feeling like I was on the verge of giving up. And then, as if the interviewer could read my mind, she said to me, "We can be too hard on ourselves sometimes. We forget that we have had many more successes than we have had failures." And in that moment, her words lifted my spirits. I thought to myself, she's right. I failed many times, but I've succeeded many times as well. Every time I stumbled and fell, I picked myself up and learned from my mistakes. Even when every muscle in my body wanted to give in, I kept going. I didn't give up. Because of that, I have accomplished many things. Things that I had forgotten about in my moment of despair and hopelessness. Things that I remembered again because of that interviewer. And ever since then, every time I doubt myself, every time I want to give up, I recite her words to myself. And then I remember to not be so hard on myself. I remind myself that even though I failed today, I'll succeed. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next day, or the next day, or the next day, but I know that I'll succeed again. I'm going to take you back in time now to 2011, almost a decade ago, when I was a junior in high school. During that time, I was painfully shy. I struggled with social anxiety and constantly worried about what other people thought about me. All I really wanted was to belong. That year, I took a psychology class and was assigned to sit with a group of seniors. I didn't know anyone else in the class, so they were the only people that I talked to every day during that hour. One day, when I arrived in class, everyone was standing outside waiting because our psychology teacher had arrived late. The group of seniors were standing in a circle by the door. I took a step towards them and then stopped. My anxiety started to set in. Without the excuse of a seating assignment, I didn't have the courage to join them. I was afraid that they wouldn't want me in their group. So instead, I turned my back to them and I looked up at the sky, pretending to admire the clouds and the birds, while deep inside I was desperately praying that my teacher would arrive soon to unlock the classroom door. When she finally arrived, I filed into the classroom quietly and sat down in my seat. And then one of the seniors turned to me and said, "I noticed you were standing on the outside of the circle. You know, you can always come in if you want." Those were the kindest words that anyone had ever said to high school me. A year later, I became a senior. I was having lunch outdoors with my friends when I noticed a girl eating lunch by herself. She was a freshman who I knew had just transferred from another school. She looked lost, just as lost as I had felt that day outside of my psychology class. I hesitated at first because even as a senior, I was still shy. Then those kind words echoed in my head again. "You know, you can always come in if you want." And with those words, I summoned up my courage and invited her to lunch with me and my friends. It's amazing how great of an impact a few simple words can have on someone's life. Kindness is like the rain. It doesn't disappear, although it may seem like it does. Like rain seeping quietly into the earth, kindness seeps quietly into the hearts of others, slowly, steadily, until one day, from that rain, from that kindness, will bloom flowers. So be kind. As a pharmacist, as a healthcare professional, as a simple human being, be kind, because you never know how your single act of kindness might change a life for the better. To my fellow graduates, in a few moments, you'll officially become pharmacists. You'll be out there in the world treating patients, changing lives, aspiring towards ever greater goals. Don't ever give up. Don't ever let adversity beat you down, because you're capable of so much. You made it through 4 years of pharmacy school, of tough exams and tough rotations. You made it through COVID. You've made it through all of this uncertainty and loss and isolation. And I know that you can make it through anything. Let's show the world what UCSD pharmacists are made of. Go Trans!
Good morning, distinguished guests, members of the faculty, professor, my fellow students, and ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be with you on this virtual platform and award ceremony today. I am particularly humbled by the honor that has been bestowed upon me to be one of the 2 commencement speakers today. I want to start by sharing my path and my journey to pharmacy school and how I got to where I am today. 4 years ago, I was accepted into 4 out of 5 pharmacy school. Although I was exhilarated to be accepted into some of the most prestigious schools in California, I did not initially get into my dream school, which is Skaggs School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. However, with patience and a little bit of luck, I was given a green light to show Dr. Tai and her admission team that I'm a good fit for Skaggs. 4 years later, After serving as the chapter president of American Pharmacy Associations, being a student ambassador to represent our school for prospective students, and participating as an active member of the school organizations, I'm a proud graduating class of 2021 with some of the most high-achieving individuals I have ever known. I could not be more proud of the journey that my peers and I have accomplished. SCAGS has been my second home for the last 4 years, and it has bordered on becoming my first home. Between my time diligently taking notes in therapeutic classes in Dr. Yim's class, playing volleyball at SCAGS lawn, endless study hours at conference room, looking at microscopic slides in the basement of School of Medicine for our histology final, frantically rehearsing for Culture Fusions and Mr. Pharmacist, cheering for our intramural basketball team, or simply sitting outside 1160 soaking up the San Diego sun during class breaks. SCAGS has truly become a sanctuary for me. My life has revolved around a 4-story building that stands on 9500 Gilman Drive, and SCAG's small and intimate class size means that I've become as connected to the people of this school as I have to the building itself. It may sound disingenuous to say I will miss each one and every one of you, but all of you in some small way has shaped me into the person I am today. So thank you for all of that. Today, we take the final step in our experience. Our hard work, long hours of study, and constant stress have finally paid off. It is time to take the knowledge that we have gained and apply to what we have learned to pursue our future endeavors. For some, that may be the continuation of your training into a residency program, a fellowship. To others, it is the start of their chosen pathway within the profession of pharmacy. Whichever the case might be, I wish you all, my fellow students, all the happiness and fortune this life might bring. Walt Disney once said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." Our dreams began when we opened our SCAGS acceptance letter 4 years ago. We envisioned ourselves becoming a variety of different pharmacists, such as community, hospital, ambulatory care, informatics, home infusions, long-term care, specialty drugs, managed care, oncology, industry, poison control, and much more. There's no better time than right now than to become a graduate of Doctor of Pharmacy. As our nation continues to fight the pandemic, us, the pharmacists, play an important role in providing medicine, therapeutics, vaccine, and critical health services to the public and the healthcare team. I have no doubt that our school has trained and fostered some of the best knowledgeable, high-achieving, and compassionate pharmacists that will shine in the healthcare field. With that being said, thank you so much for listening, and congratulations to us all, class of 2021.
It's a pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker for the class of 2021, Dr. Thomas Minigan. Dr. Minigan received his pharmacy degree from West Virginia School of Pharmacy and a master's in business administration from Everett College. He's been awarded honorary doctorate degrees from West Virginia University and the University of Charleston. I know West Virginia University well, as my wife is an alumna of the School of Medicine, and my father-in-law was chair of pathology for many years. Dr. Minigan has been a strong advocate for the role of the new pharmacist. He's a founding partner of a consulting practice providing guidance in pharmacy practice, operations, supply chain integrity, and regulation. He's CEO Emeritus of the American Pharmacists Association and is a board member of the United States Pharmacopoeia. As if that were not enough, throughout his career, Dr. Minigan had numerous volunteer leadership roles in pharmacy. In addition to his serving as CEO from 2009 to 2020 of APHA, Dr. Minigan served staff roles as head of external affairs, state affairs, public relations, new business development, and practice management issues. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Minigan.
Thank you to Chancellor Coleslaw, Dean McCarrow, Vice Chancellor Brenner, Student Organization Faculty Advisor Painter, and student leaders for inviting me to share a few thoughts. Congratulations to all of you for your contributions to this amazing class of 2021 and to our profession at large. In normal times, this is where I would ask the graduating class to stand and acknowledge the fan club of family and supporters in the audience. We all know this class wouldn't be here without their support. Congratulations to the fan club. We as a profession have always been innovative. Yet in this last year, our resilience and abilities to innovate have been challenged to a degree never experienced. As evidenced by your commencement today, UCSD students, faculty, and staff have answered the challenge. When this class began, you had no idea you would be inventing so many new ways to achieve your goals. My remarks today will be very reflective of our times when, as leaders, we are required to adapt to new rules for everything. My remarks today are titled, Your Future Through My Rearview Mirror. This is an apt title as I recently graduated myself from a career in service to our profession as CEO of APHA. My vision for your future as pharmacists is based on looking behind me at our past experiences. That's all any of us can do as we envision our future. In preparation for today, I learned a few things about your class. You're 66 strong, diverse, inclusive, and you enjoy getting off campus from time to time. You're optimistic, hardworking, and caring. You've shown tremendous resilience while staying positive and compassionate. Every class has written personal thank you notes to each instructor, and student leaders have maintained this tradition. You have a sense of family, even though one quarter was entirely virtual with a new course. You are adaptable and tenacious as you learn how to learn in new ways. And you've really stepped up as immunizers, as you've excelled as volunteers in community outreach with projects such as Operation Diabetes. You have a few entrepreneurs and potential pharmacy owners, while some are headed to industry or residencies. Importantly, you have some award-winning clinicians. You are both involved and committed to making a difference. Based on the view in my rearview mirror, those characteristics are critical to your future. According to research from Dell Technologies and the Institute for the Future, 85% of the jobs students of today will hold in 2030 haven't been invented yet. Let that marinate for just a minute. In the last decade, we've seen so many changes, things that may seem commonplace today. Interprofessional education is a game changer that became a standard in this decade and sets you up for team-based care. Quality metrics that we're all measured by screen for pharmacist inclusion in chronic care management. Today, we treat chronic diseases that used to be fatal. And telehealth, digital therapies, artificial intelligence, pharmacogenomics, robotics, neural networks, and blockchain will change how we communicate and work with patients and other members of the team. And it's all the result of both incremental and bold innovators, the kind of innovator you can choose to become. Given the events of the day, the public has confidence in our ability to deliver, and they will surely have different views of pharmacist roles. We are in a time of like no other in human history, where in about a year's time, we've discovered a public health threat that could wipe mankind off the face of the earth. We've identified treatments, successfully manufactured and delivered vaccines, and we've spooled up a system that is providing millions of those vaccines weekly to put shots in arms as we inoculate the planet. Importantly, pharmacists have stepped up on the front lines in every role and in leadership roles in answering the public health imperative. We're getting shots in arms at accelerating rates every day. Last year, the most commonly used phrase was, "You're on mute." This year, your profession is intent upon making the most common phrase in America, "I got my second shot." If we were live today, I would ask the audience for a standing ovation to all those involved, from research scientists to support teams logistics experts, and the immunizers who put shots in arm. We have truly been innovators. A concept that originated in a Harvard Business Review article by Clayton Christensen, now the subject of a bestseller book, The Innovator's DNA, names the 5 skills of effective innovators: associating, questioning, observing, experimenting, and networking. These skills can be learned, yet you must be open to change and resilient with disruption. Remember, the jobs you will have in 10 years haven't been invented yet, and the old jobs are changing. Are you going to wait for a job to come to you? Are you going to shape your future through associating, questioning, observing, experimenting, and networking? Let me emphasize this last point about networking. When I asked several of my former APHA president bosses about the one thing new practitioners should consider, they all agreed. Build connection and tell your story. Your short time here helped you make hundreds of important lifetime connections, but you've got to stay connected and be a lifelong learner and be able to tell your story. And that's my major message to you today. Stay connected. I like to think I'm a lifelong learner. I learned something about cookies recently. I checked out after my first night in APHA's new contract hotel and grabbed a cookie from the bowl at the front desk. As I chewed, the taste sank in. Hints of liver and grain brought the realization that this was a dog-friendly hotel, and I was chewing on a dog biscuit. Not to look foolish, I finished it off. I admit it was a little dry, but the second one wasn't too bad. Your future looks bright through my rearview mirror. Today, students active in volunteer organizations provide direct patient care and education to hundreds of thousands of patients through service projects. But your service does not end after graduation. We need new practitioners and pharmacists alike to lead through service to our profession, commit to lifelong learning, and stay connected. Also in preparation for today, I asked very recent new practitioner leaders for advice they would share based on their experiences in transition from student pharmacists. Here are some highlights from your peers. Number 1, remember why you chose to become a pharmacist. Dream big, persevere, and have a vision. Let your passion drive your career. Invest the time to bring about the change you want to see. Number 2, remember this day and how you felt. Remember how proud faculty, staff, family, and friends are of you. Staying connected with them and your peers helps fuel your passion for the profession. Number 3, put your patients first. Treat each patient with the same care and attention you would a family member. When you're having a bad day, and you'll definitely have them, remember the good days will get you through. Number 4, practice your best each day. Keep an open mind, ask questions, and seek new responsibilities. Lifelong learning will never let you stagnate in your day-to-day practice. Number 5, take charge of your finances. Evaluate your needs, wants, and current debt. Make a debt management plan immediately and stick to it. Your plan will get you out of debt more quickly. Take advantage of APHA resources to help you manage your finances in this area. Number 6, keep showing up, keep saying yes, and be fearless about rejection. I cannot emphasize this one enough. Continue to be involved through professional organizations and continue to support your alma mater, UCSD. That's all part of showing up and saying yes. Long ago, I learned things change. COVID-19 has turned us all upside down and has accelerated that change. Importantly, we've seen a profession that is adapting and innovating. I know you can thrive during this time of change. Again, keep showing up, keep saying yes, and be fearless about rejection. Approach practice with gratitude and an attitude of service. Despite these times, you are now entering a profession where you shouldn't have to worry about making a living. So worry about making a difference. Congratulations and thank you.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of University of California, San Diego, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents and the President of the University of California, I confer upon you the doctoral degree to which you're entitled with all the honors, recognition, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Hello, Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Deans, faculty, staff, graduates, family, friends, and guests. My name is Candace Morello, and I am the Associate Dean for Student Affairs. Graduates, you became part of our SCAGS family in 2017 during your first week orientation. Do you remember when I showed you a picture of a unique cake? Remember? It was the Motherlode cake from Claim Jumpers. While it might have seemed odd that a diabetes pharmacist specialist was excited about a huge sugary frosted layer cake, I did have my reasons. To ensure that 6-layer cake remains upright, careful planning, knowledge, and a strong foundation is necessary. Otherwise, it topples over. This concept relates to being a student pharmacist and ultimately to your career. We talked about the importance of building a strong clinical and scientific foundation as you navigated each year of our curriculum and through your own experiences. By your 3rd and your 4th year, you successfully traversed the uncertain and often changing landscapes during this pandemic. With a strong foundation, knowledge, and resilience, you can do anything. And now you're at the very top layer of your cake, graduation and the start of your career. Your faculty and I have had the privilege of observing your professional growth, strong leadership, commitment to your profession and the community, as well as see you make some lifelong friends. Along the way, you may have encountered some lumps in the cake, but with determination, creativity, and flexibility, you've all persevered and succeeded. You've waited a long time for this. Let's commence with giving you all your well-deserved, personalized graduation moments. Dr. Matthew Abraham. Dr. Maher Alhaja. Dr. Berwin Ang. Dr. Lara Anwar. Dr. Brian Bao. Dr. Annie Bowie. Dr. Tran Bowie. Dr. Kelly Chan. Dr. Annie Chang. Dr. Claire Chen. Dr. Lydia Chen. Dr. Stephen Chen. Dr. Karen Chung. Dr. Ariana Choi. Dr. Michelle Kraft. Dr. Saktaj Dhaliwal. Dr. Tiffany Doe. Dr. Rand Fatuhi. Dr. Luis Francisco. Dr. Natalie Hines. Dr. Haley Harada. Dr. Tina Ho. Dr. Jenny Huynh. Dr. Masara Isa. Dr. Shelby Jones. Dr. Noor Katchi. Dr. Sivan Katula. Dr. Katie Kessler. Dr. David Kim. Dr. Lydia Lai. Dr. Bridget Lazaro. Dr. Marlon Leonagi. Dr. Jefferson Luong. Dr. Connie Ma. Dr. Matthew Mitchell. Dr. Alexis Marabi. Dr. Talar Mamjian. Dr. Roberto Nava. Dr. Jeffrey Ng. Dr. Quinmi Wen. Dr. James Park. Dr. R.T. Patel. Dr. Tao Pham. Dr. Mei Feng. Dr. Brian Riley. Dr. Cherie Richards. Dr. Sarab Sadeghi. Dr. Nathan Samsky. Dr. Harpuni Sindhar. Dr. Urvashi Somani. Dr. Agnes Saw. Dr. Shengxi Sun. Dr. Sophie Tan. Dr. Tanya Tatavets. Dr. Jason Thomas. Dr. Anna Toe. Dr. Vivian Tran. Dr. Misa Triu. Dr. Hilary Velasquez. Dr. Eunice Voiku. Dr. Guanan Wang. Dr. Catherine Wu. Dr. Derek Yang. Dr. Yvonne Yap. Dr. Alexander Yi. Dr. Young Jun Yu.
Hello, and congratulations, class of 2021. It is an honor to be here to share this moment with you all today. I was going to start off with a HIPAA joke, but it turns out I can't tell you. It seems like just yesterday I was in your shoes, and now being here to support you as you become pharmacists is surreal. I had the privilege to meet many of you while I was a student, some of which I've watched grow during rotations at Scripps, and others I'm just meeting here today. Regardless, I applaud your class for the obstacles you have overcome in your journey to today. I'm quite sure none of you imagined your APPE experiences to consist of COVID vaccines, Zoom residency interviews, or pre-recorded graduation speeches. However, during this non-conventional year, each of you have faced and conquered all of the hurdles that were thrown at you. And I can honestly say you will be some of the strongest new practitioners because of it. You've been pushed to react quickly, take on clinical responsibilities, maximize your virtual peripheral brain through online learning, and prioritize patient care, all in a day's notice. This year is an example of the excitement and uncertainty that can arise in the healthcare field, and it solidifies the fact that this is not the end of your learning. Each day you'll be pushed to new limits and challenged to explore the ever-changing world of pharmacy. This is the start of a career in which you all will continue to build on the foundation and relationships you have made during your time here at SCAGS. As you move forward in your career, there are 3 statements that I want you to remember. I heard each of these time and again in pharmacy school, but never truly understood them until becoming a pharmacist. First, pharmacy is a small world. I remember this from orientation day, Dr. Morello standing in front of our class saying this over and over again. We were all looking around thinking, what is she talking about? There are millions of pharmacists. If you look to your left and right, these classmates, these friends are now your colleagues. all of us who have supported you during your learning and who are here celebrating you today, your preceptors, your alumni, your faculty, we are now your colleagues. Whatever avenue you've decided to venture forward with, whether that be residency, pharmacy practice positions, academia, industry, you will find connections every step of the way. You've met so many people during your learning that you don't even realize until you start to explore. Use this small world to your advantage as you grow in your careers. Build bridges, create pathways, and develop even stronger connections with the pharmacists you meet all over the world. Second, be patient-specific. This was the focus of all of our exams, and arguably the most important aspect of pharmacy. While rounding with a medical team, not once have I been asked, what is the first-line therapy for hypertension? The reality moving forward is that almost everything in pharmacy is a gray area, depending on what is best for the patient. As the medication expert, you will now be looked to for guidance on medication therapy for complex disease states for patients who don't fit standard therapy. I will never forget something Dr. Bassel once mentioned to my class. He said, orders aren't for medications. They are for solutions to people's problems. You can object to any order you like as long as you have a better solution to offer. In other words, always be patient-specific. Third and lastly, no career path is built in a straight line. Odds are your first position after graduation will not be your last. And now is the time to start winding your own path. Use the principles you have learned to find fulfillment in your career. This may look different to you than your peers. My path started in critical care, and while I love what I do now, I may not forever, and that's okay. Every decision you make is a decision worth making, and each step will lead you to the next. As you graduate here today, I urge you to be open-minded, celebrate change, and embrace a winding path. I wish you all the best moving forward, and remember, pharmacy is a small world. Be patient-specific and embark on a winding path. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2021.
This concludes our commencement for the class of 2021. We are very proud of you. You're all doctors of pharmacy, which means you can put doctor in front of your name. I'd like you to remember a couple of things as you go off to the next stage of your career. First of all, remember you've had a really unique education, one which trained you not only to be a pharmacist, but to be a leader in the field. So please do that. And secondly, don't be a stranger. Come on back. You can be a preceptor to students behind you. You can give them career advice just like you got career advice. And please go ahead and join the alumni committee run by Dr. Morello and Dr. Lamb. That'll help you be in touch with what's going on in the school. So you can come visit anytime you want. We'll look forward to seeing you. So now I wish we could all go off and party at our building, but we can't because it's all a Zoom. But I'd encourage you, hey, go off and have a party with your family and friends. Pretend we're there. Anyway, enjoy the next stage of your career. So long.